Now for this afternoon's final keynote presentation, put your hands together for the CEO of Poynt, Osama Bedier.
Players, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic.
Whoa. How's it going, everybody? Wow, you guys are asleep already. Got to wake you up. Well, it's a great day here at Money 2020. Vegas once again. We have a lot in store. Big announcement from Poynt. So we're excited to be here. And as usual, I think we're the only ones doing demos. I don't know what it is about, people are afraid to do demos, but we're doing some very cool demos today. So let's get it started. I'm going to start, as usual, with a story, or actually a few stories. Retail is inherently personal. It's meant to be that way. And I knew this growing up in Cairo, where my parents wouldn't dream of shopping for groceries anywhere but the corner store, Abdul's. Abdul had a warm smile, always. He greeted us by first name. He called us at the house when there was something new. He put things on the tab. We didn't have to wait in line. It was a great experience. And so we didn't think about going anywhere else. And I think that's the way retail was everywhere. But something, over the last 100 years or so, has changed it. And so I delved into it a bit. And so I'm going to go through two stories as to why I think that happened, and then an argument for how to improve it again. The first one is called or about unintended consequences. This is about a man named James Riddy. In the 1870s, Riddy ran a saloon. He was a restaurateur in Dayton, Ohio, by today's terms. And it was actually a very busy saloon. But he had a pretty big problem. He never seemed to make money, despite how busy it got. And he blamed it on the dishonesty of his staff. Because at that time, his staff kept money mostly in their pocket or old cigar boxes, and it happened to kind of walk away. Frustrated, he actually went on vacation to think through things, whether to keep the store. He took a vacation to Europe. He befriended the ship's engineer and spent a lot of time in the engine room. And it was there that he learned of a device that recorded the rotations of a propeller, of the ship's propeller. And that gave him an idea. Why can't I record the money flow in and out of a cash box? And so he rushed back home, cut his vacation short, and invented Riddy's incorruptible cashier. He wasn't a marketing guy. It's actually a horrible name. For 4 years, he perfected the device, and he sold one device to a man named John Henry Patterson. Now, Patterson was a local business owner that was just so taken with this device that he bought the whole company. And he bought the patent that was also pretty valuable with it. And Patterson changed the name of the company to National Cash Register, and the cash register was born. He actually made a bunch of improvements to it. He added a customer receipt. He added a bell so that he could hear when the cash drawer opened and closed. And he even added a permanent sales record so that the retailer could figure out what the day's sales look like. But one of the unintended consequences is that this big piece of technology became a barrier between the consumer and the merchant. And so while it automated things, while it made lines go faster, while it allowed merchants to count the money and lose less of it, it made the process a little less personal. A national cash register became one of the largest companies in the world. In a short period of time, in fact, the first 10 years, they sold 200,000 devices. And by 1922, they sold 2 million devices that year alone. in 50 countries, including as far off as Asia, South America, and Europe. It was amazing by any standard. Now, fast forward with the advent of the microprocessor, big box retail was born. And it was all about efficiency. It was about moving people through lines as quickly as possible. And retail became anonymous, became even less personal. It became about moving through the checkout lane. So retail efficiency, the quest for retail efficiency, actually did a lot to kill the customer experience in store. My second story, I call Ubiquity trumps Novelty. I often get asked the question, since I've done a few mobile wallets, when will they ever be successful? How did PayPal become successful? It's actually a little weird, because most of the time you focus on the novelty, you focus on the use case, you focus on the experience. But in payments, Ubiquity is pretty important. And the story here is about the first time a non-government system became a currency. So in 1958, Joseph Williams, a Bank of America executive, decided, after 70 years, by the way, the name credit card had been around since the 1870s as well. 1877 is when it was coined. And for 70 years, many failed attempts at creating a general purpose payment card. And so Joseph Williams at Bank of America decided to take a crack at it. It was the first time a general purpose credit card was successful. He came up with the Bank of America card, or Bank Americard at the time, later named Visa. And he did something very interesting. He understood Ubiquity was critical for success. And it's now known as the Fresno drop. He chose Fresno, California as the first place to test the concept of the credit card. I know it seems a little weird now. But Fresno, California, half of the city's residents were Bank of America customers. And so it seemed to make a lot of sense. He convinced the top 200 retailers to accept this new card that didn't exist yet by flooding the city with 60,000 unsolicited credit cards. And in a very short period of time, usage grew, so did the number of merchants. Within 3 months, they knew they were onto something. In fact, by the end of that first year, 2 million cardholders and 20,000 merchants existed across California. This is in 1959. In a year, 2 million cardholders. That's actually amazing even by Silicon Valley standards. And within the next 2 decades, there were tens of millions of cards, and it grew into a phenomenon around the world. So Ubiquity was pretty important. Now, I often get the question of, hey, we've had mobile wallets for a while, but they're only at 2% or 3%. They're already failed. It took the first credit card quite a while to actually achieve 3% adoption. Most people forget that. 20 years to get to 3%. Why? Because the experience was horrible. This was the acceptance machine. For 20 years, tens of millions of cardholders went to retail establishments and went through this horrible process. It was actually upwards of 5 minutes to do a single transaction. You had to look up the card in a book to see if it was blacklisted. I'm sure the check folks were sitting in line going, oh no, not another card holder. But then something pretty interesting happened. In 1979, Visa came up with the first prototype of a payment terminal, an electronic device that automatically authorized a transaction. And the worst payment method in retail became the best payment method in retail, 7 seconds. It was pretty amazing. It was productized by a few companies, and within the next 30 years, adoption of cards went viral. So the reason credit cards actually became successful was the experience was solved. So the first 2 decades, 3%. The next 3 decades, it got up above 50%. So while distribution was required to get to Ubiquity, and there's no other way, you kind of have to force it. It was an unnatural act to put that many cards and that many merchants in Fresno, California, and kickstart a new payment system. It was raw distribution. But it was experience that made it disruptive and changed the status quo. It made it more popular than cash, checks, and every other payment method. So the experience here is important. And so back to my argument, payments, we often forget in this industry, is not about innovation in payments. It's about creating better commerce experiences. And big box retail, for the last 5 decades, in search of even more efficiency, has sacrificed the experience. Lines have become the standard. You do your shopping, and then you go do this horrible thing where you stand in line just to pay somebody your money. In fact, the only thing that big box retail tried to do, and they did it well for a while, was selection and price. That's what the competition was about. The broadest selection possible at the best price. The problem with that is e-commerce was tailor-made for selection and price. You ship the product from the warehouse. So there is no limit to how much selection. It's unlimited selection. And you sell the product before you even buy it. So you could obviously give the best price. And earlier this year, some of you have noticed it, Amazon has become the largest retailer in the world by market cap. And in fact, accelerating in that sense. So why did e-commerce get there? It wasn't only selection and price. Despite all the disadvantages of not being in the physical space, they used technology to create amazing experiences, even virtually. Personalization, right? The ability to create an account. The retailer knows who you are, gives you products that you actually like. Reviews, so you know what others think about the product, not to buy something that you might not like later. No lines. In fact, in the holiday season, it's become a better shopping experience. Ability to ship it anywhere. Big convenience. So what about in-store? What happens to in-store retail? It has to go back to the advantage of a personal experience. But it needs to be extended across all channels, because the consumer no longer thinks about retail per channel. And to deliver on that, the merchant's device needs to be as smart as the consumer's device. That's the argument we made 2 years ago. It needs to be that next generation experience device, just like the original terminal enabled the card to be a magical experience. The phone alone can't do it. The terminal has to be just as smart. And so 2 years ago on this very stage, we used the EMV window to make the case for a smart terminal. And some were skeptical. Since our launch, many, big and small, have actually latched onto the opportunity now, some even creating carbon copies. You guys didn't like my joke? We've made a lot of progress since then. We now have EMV certification at 6 of the top 10 global acquirers. We're shipping 15,000 devices a month. We're live on 2 continents and expanding. Thousands of developers across 60 countries. And I would argue smart terminals have become the new standard. Any terminal maker not already building a smart terminal is in trouble. We believe that this will be a defining moment in the retail experience. Smart terminals will allow merchants to unlock the power of consumer mobile and to deliver magical vertical experiences, because we believe that's what the future of retail will be built on. Once again, making retail personal, even at scale. And the retailers that have already mastered the technology to do that are seeing the rewards. But we're just getting started. That first device, we targeted a segment of merchants that were kind of left behind with technology. These small to medium-sized merchants that do somewhere between 50,000 a year and 10 million a year in sales, with a countertop device that's semi-mobile, that you can actually take to the back and do warehousing. It's a computer. It enables applications to do all kinds of cost-saving activities, like syncing with your accounting, like taking in orders, like automating loyalty. And we've done very well with it. But there's a gap. As you can see, there's a lot of white space there. And since our launch, we've been bombarded by many large retailers saying, large retailers need smart devices too. And so we're excited to fill that gap. We're announcing Poynt 5. Poynt 5 is basically everything that we put into our original Poynt device, but in a package targeted at top tier 1 retailers. We have all 5 payment methods: magstripe, chip, NFC, QR code, and beacon. We even do PIN on glass on this device, just like our original Poynt terminal. It does every type of connectivity you can imagine: mobile, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, USB, and the like. But more importantly, we know large retailers have a huge investment in their existing POS infrastructure. We don't want to change that. This is the perfect companion to an existing POS device. We put a lot of work, so integrating it is 1 or 2 weeks worth of work. Elevon, I'm excited to announce, will be our first distributor. We've already put all the specs on our website, so I won't go through it here, but a lot of technology packed into an amazing package without sacrificing PCI or EMV certification. And now I'd like to run a quick video showing you a little bit of how we see this device. Thank you. We're very excited as well. And we're being disruptive also on the price. At $199, this is our wholesale buy price, it is the least expensive terminal, I'd say smart terminal, but even terminal at this price point, as well as the most capable. We intend, when we do this for a reason, we intend to have smart terminals on every countertop around the globe as quickly as possible. And we believe that that's better done when the price point is accessible to everyone. So we're going to go a step further. During Money 2020 week, we will actually sell it for $129. We're putting our word, our mouth where our word is. Is that the way it's said? Our word where our mouth is? Something like that. As long as it's not our foot in our mouth. So, as we normally do, this thing is actually real. And we're going to do a demo. I'm going to invite Wally Milinarski, head of product at Elevon, to come help me with the demo. Hey, Wally, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Osama?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Thank you very much for a great partnership. We are rapidly launching great product. We got the Poynt Smart Terminal out there in September in a pilot, already live, full rolling out in our channels in October, 4 weeks later, and now rapidly looking at Poynt 5 to expand that solution to pay at the table and new use cases that are going to really drive our merchants to be happy.
I love it.
Excited about that.
And I'm very happy with how fast we're moving.
Yes.
So,
so I'm in the wrong gear. I'm looking up here. Everybody's got T-shirts on, jeans. I didn't wear my startup kit. So can I buy a T-shirt
we're happy
off
to give you one.
What's that?
You want to buy it? I'll
Yeah,
you
can
one
I
too.
buy it?
Absolutely. I've got one just right here for the occasion.
All right.
I'm going to pull our Poynt 5 device. First, let me show it to you here. And let me scan this thing. The scanner is having stage anxiety.
Yes.
There it is. Perfect.
All right, well, I'm going to pay with my US Bank.
$10. It's an amazing price.
Great. Can I get 2?
2.
Yeah, 2 for 10. How about that? A little deal there.
You really like our T-shirts, don't you? There we are. Oh, I'm going to charge you for 3.
Okay. Ooh. 2 for
You know,
3.
we're a
that sounds like
startup. We need as
pay
much
for
money.
2?
We need as much money as we can get.
I thought we
Okay,
solved that already. All right. Well, I'm going to pay with my US Bank FlexPerks card here and mobile as the way I go here. Oh, there we go.
You guys do have a relationship there.
Yes. And we're going to make it work here, demo.
Well, most people don't pay on the stage. Here you go.
Yeah. The phones are now stage fright as well, too. All right.
Here, let me, here you go.
All right. Well, I can always go back to the old way. Check.
Yeah, well, you're such a great partner. How about
Why don't I go with my card? Here we go. We'll pull it out right here.
Okay.
Card it is.
I don't think Apple Pay was made to happen on stage.
No.
Okay. At least it's an EMV card.
Yes. Make sure I'm secure. No chargebacks for you.
Hopefully the Wi-Fi lets this go through. All right.
There it is.
Boom.
Payment.
Great.
Magical. I'll take
Here
that
you
one
go,
back.
sir. And
Thank you
here's
for the
your
shirt. Well, maybe we should, thank you for the shirt and everything. Maybe we should talk about some of the other problems we've been solving out there pretty rapidly.
I'd love for you to tell them about your experience building on top of the Poynt terminal.
Yeah, so we started this relationship almost 60 days ago, and we came with a problem that's out there in the market for most of us. We got a bunch of customers that are not adopting EMV, and why? Well, we're going to solve pay at the table here. But what about those lodging customers out there that are trying to, small businesses, not the Venetian, not the Hiltons of the world, but what about those bed and breakfasts that have those lodging apps that are out there? Well,
I was shocked when you told me they don't have an EMV solution.
no, and they can't adopt because they have to have a lodging app. So we brought that problem together to Poynt, and within 60 days, we'll be launching a lodging app on the Poynt solution. So,
Very cool. Well, let's
excellent. Why don't we check it
show
out?
them this thing.
All right, so I'm checking in, obviously.
This is the Elevon lodging app. This place was a little expensive, but let's assume it's $150 a night.
That's not too bad.
So we'll do check-in
Future
day.
check-in for 3 days. That's perfect.
Check out.
Nice.
I'm going to enter a room number.
I like the suite, so 1200. Get me up. Get me up the floor. There we go.
There you go. And then a file number.
All right, and pay. And here we are. We'll try it again. Here, look at this one to work.
Yep.
There we go.
Perfect. Cool. So
All right.
now it's
Now let's
authorized
sign
the
right here.
transaction.
Oh,
Well,
no
we'll let
signature.
you sign when you pick it up. So
Okay.
now I go to checkout. What was it? 1200.
1200.
Pull up the room. It pulls up the transaction. I'm going to do checkout.
Charge it the same card.
Charge to the same card.
Now I can sign.
Now you can sign. Man, it's a hard to copy signature. Boom.
All done.
Very cool. So 60 days.
60 days.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you all.
Good luck.
Thank you. Okay, we have a couple more very cool announcements. Over the last couple of years, we've also heard from many countries around the world. So far, we've only launched in the US and Brazil. It's been hard work just getting a new terminal out in one country. Getting it out in two was a lot of work. So we've put a lot of thought into how do we expand faster globally. A lot of other countries out there. And so we're excited to announce our Poynt Preferred Reseller Organization Program. So what is it? We're going to enable global partners and resellers to help us expand and share in our success. We're fully supporting them with our own Poynt development team so that they can go get certification in all the local geographies. We'll provide early inclusion in alpha and beta opportunities for new products. And the idea here is to help them accelerate growth. So we've actually thrown in our remote key injection. We have a global remote key injection system we're making available for resellers. And so starting today, you can log online to our website, Poynt.com, apply as a reseller, and over the next 90 days, we'd like to map out our preferred resellers in the top couple of hundred countries. In the top 30 countries. The second announcement and demo is about upgrading Poynt OS. So we started with our own operating system that's a variant of Android, but built so that it's easy to develop on a smart terminal without having to go through PCI and EMV certification all over again. So now we're extending that. First, with app bundles. We believe that discovery is a problem, not just for consumers, even for merchants. We don't think that merchants can actually select the right apps themselves. They can choose the wrong app, invest a lot of time in it, not be successful, and then blame us and our partners. So we've created app bundles that are purpose-built. We'll show you an order ahead app bundle here in a second, but the idea is to intelligently match these bundles by vertical and sub-vertical. We're also added something called Pos Bridge, so that you could develop integration into almost any POS system within a week or two. Customer acquirer integrations will allow our resellers to integrate to their acquirers directly without requiring work from Poynt. And then we've added a lot of APIs so that loyalty providers, offers, discount, coupons, and rewards companies can build much faster. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ray Tanaka, our head of product, to show us a demo.
All right. So, hi everyone. App bundles. So app bundles take the confusion and the difficulty of figuring out what apps are complementary for a business. So apps have been around for a while, but it's really unclear whether if or how they're even going to work together at all. So this is what app bundles are meant to do. So here is an example of an app bundle I have for Flo's Cafe. It's called the Instant Order Ahead App Bundle. When I'm ready to commit, all I have to do is hit the try button. And what happens is it's going to kick off a series of steps. First, it's going to install Apptizer. This is an app that pulls from my catalog and provides an online menu for my customers. Second, it installs Lightning Register, my new POS application. And last, I get WaveSpot. This is a hotspot both for my business as well as for my guests so that they can take advantage of Wi-Fi when they're at my store. So just like that, it's ready to go. Why don't we see it in action?
So you actually set this thing up live right now.
That's right. It's ready to go.
Very cool. Let's do it.
All right. So May is here enjoying her cup of coffee. When she's ready to grab another cup of coffee without leaving the comfort of her seat, she's able to browse and hopefully find my free Wi-Fi hotspot. Once she logs on to the free Wi-Fi hotspot, what she's going to see is a captive portal page. And on that captive portal page, she should see a place where she can actually go straight to my menu. Once she gets on to my menu, she can then choose and order whatever she wants.
So just by logging onto the hotspot, the local Wi-Fi at the restaurant,
That's correct.
the first thing that shows up is the order ahead.
That's right. Once she makes her selection and chooses to check out, all right, so this is her checking out right now. She's going to add a name, so when she places her order, we'll be able to call her or take it to her table. And just like that, it gets straight sent to my terminal. Here it is, her order right to my Apptizer menu, where it then also loads straight into, right here, sorry. So loads straight into my Lightning POS, where we can start working on an order right away. That's it.
Very cool. So just to get this straight, the POS application worked with the order ahead provider,
Yep.
as well as the Wi-Fi router.
Yep. And my catalog.
And your catalog, and just made it work.
That's
and
right.
You didn't have to do anything as a retailer.
Yep.
Very
Just had
cool.
to install the bundle.
Awesome. Okay, and I talked a little bit about POS Bridge, this idea of integrating to any POS very quickly. Can you show us a demo of that?
Sure, POS Bridge. So now, if I'm a larger restaurant, it's not really an option for me to upgrade my entire system, and even worse, having to retrain my entire staff. So this is where POS Bridge, along with eThor, comes into play. So now my waiters, they can continue taking orders just like they have before, and they can continue to use their existing POS systems just like before. And so now, this is Neil entering in May's order of coffee, sending it through. And thanks to the POS Bridge, when May's ready to check out, normally we'd have to take a bill to her, but now it shows straight up on Poynt 5 where the two are integrated and synced.
So that order is showing up over Wi-Fi on Poynt 5.
That's correct. It's going over the network, showing up, and letting her check out. And so this helps for turnaround times for our tables. It allows her to pay via EMV. And most importantly, she can pay however she wants, whether it's NFC, EMV, or anything else.
Very cool. Well, thank you, guys. That's it for our demos. So, as I mentioned, retail is inherently personal. And somewhere in the last 100 years, technology got in the way. Our goal is to build products that are similar to consumer mobile devices that pull technology out of the way and bring the experience back, make it magical again. Thank you very much.